In 2022, Malaysia introduced the Premium Visa Program, otherwise known as the PVIP. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the PVIP, who it's suited to, how it differs to the MM2H, what your tax obligations will be if you come to Malaysia under this program, and if this visa isn't for you, then what are your other options. Aaron here from offshore in Asia. So if you're interested in moving your life, your money, your business, your investments out to Asia, we can help you to make that happen. Okay, so on to the video. More and more people are looking to move their life and their business out to Malaysia. There are many reasons for this. The attractive cost of living, the excellent infrastructure, English is widely spoken, you've got Singapore just down the track and very good proximity to the rest of Asia. That's why people want to come out here. So now let's look at one of the ways that you can get out here. The PVIP is a residency by investment program aimed at wealthy investors who want to come out and live in Malaysia. It gives you 20 years in the country, plus it can be extended by a further 20 years, and that's multiple entry access. There's no minimum stay requirement, which will suit a lot of people. You can bring your family with you. And one of the best things about this visa is it gets you a little bit closer to having the same rights as a Malaysian resident, in that you can work here, you can run business here, you can study, you can invest, you can purchase property. Okay, so to be eligible, you need to be able to demonstrate that you have at least 40,000 Malaysian ringgit income per month. That's around 8,700 US dollars. Or 480,000 ringgit per year. You also need to be able to deposit 1 million ringgit into a Malaysian bank and leave it there for 1 year. That's about 217,000 US dollars. After that first year, you can withdraw up to 50% of that to go spend that money on a property, medical expenses, or education expenses. You'll also have to pay a sign-on fee of 200,000 Malaysian ringgit. That's around 43,000 US dollars. For dependents, that'll be 100,000 ringgit. And you'll have to pay an annual ongoing fee of 2,000 ringgit. You'll also need to provide a certificate of good conduct from your home country. Now, a lot of people who are looking at this visa would have looked at the MM2H as well, and there are some similarities between the two. So we're going to have a look now at how the MM2H and the PVIP compare to each other and why you might go for one over the other. It's also important to note that there has been an announcement that the MM2H rules are going to be relaxed. We haven't heard what those new rules are going to be yet, but we understand that the eligibility criteria on the MM2H will be lowered. But let's have a look at things as the rules stand now. Okay, the obvious difference here with the PVIP is that it has quite a large application fee, or a participation fee as they call it, compared to the MM2H. So that's the 200,000 ringgit fee. The MM2H, on the other hand, has a bond payment of just 5,000 to sign on. To be eligible for the MM2H, you have to be at least 35 years old, but the PVIP has no age restriction. If you've got the money, you can come into Malaysia under this program. The foreign monthly income requirement on both visas is the same at 40,000 ringgit. There is no proof of liquid assets required under the PVIP like there is with the MM2H, and both visas have the same investment requirement of 1 million ringgit. You will be allowed to invest in property whether you enter Malaysia under the PVIP or the MM2H. Both programs make you keep your money in the bank for 1 year and then allow you to withdraw 50%, that's 500,000 ringgit, after 1 year. The PVIP has no minimum stay requirement, whereas the MM2H requires you to stay in the country for at least 90 days every year. You get a 20-year renewable visa under the PVIP versus a 5-year renewable under the MM2H. Perhaps the biggest selling point of the PVIP is that it allows you to work, do business, and study in Malaysia, much like a Malaysian resident. The MM2H allows you to do part-time work if you're over 50 years of age. You're allowed to register a company, but you have to apply for a work permit if you want to work on your company while you're in the country, but it doesn't allow you to study. Okay, so who is the Malaysian Premium Visa Program good for? Well, this is aimed at people who have a bit of money and are looking to secure a home in Malaysia. It gives you up to 40 years, so this is a good long-term option for someone who wants to come out here and really build a life and have pretty good rights in the country. Rights that are closer to being a Malaysian resident than you would have on the MM2H. And it's also a really good option for people who just want to have an offshore base in Asia, maybe a base to do business from, somewhere that doesn't have a minimum stay requirement where they can just come and go as they please, a residence permit that can be called upon whenever they want to come out and spend more time in Asia. You can make an argument that 43,000 US dollars is pretty reasonable for getting a 20-year residential permit in Malaysia. But for some people, that's going to be out of the question. So if this is a bit too much for you, then what are your other options? So the obvious alternative that we've already covered is, of course, the MM2H, which gives you pretty good access to the country, and it doesn't have that big entry participation fee that the PVIP has. And the MM2H will become even more attractive once we get those more relaxed eligibility criteria. If you're looking for something a bit shorter term, consider the Dirantau Nomad Pass. That's the Malaysian Digital Nomad Visa. All we need to do to qualify for that one is demonstrate that you earn at least 24,000 US dollars per year. If you're already running a successful business and you want to utilize a low corporate tax rate, then you might consider the Labuan Director's Visa. The Sarawak SMM2H is a pretty good alternative if you're looking to stay in the country medium term, but you don't want to front up the cash for the MM2H. For this one, you only need a monthly income of 7,000 Malaysian ringgit. Now, looking outside of Malaysia, if you're looking for something for the medium to longer term and a kind of VIP feel visa, the Thai Elite visa might be for you. They offer 5, 10, 20-year visa terms that start at around 17,000 US dollars. The Philippines has an investment visa that allows you to reside in the country indefinitely, provided that you maintain investment in that country of at least 75,000 US dollars. And Indonesia has the second home visa. To be eligible for that one, you need to deposit about 130,000 US dollars into an Indonesian bank. So there you have it, guys. Plenty of other options if the PVIP is not for you. All right, now we're going to take a brief summary of the tax situation in Malaysia under the PVIP visa. So if you come into Malaysia under the premium visa, you will be taxed as a Malaysian resident under the regular Malaysian Income Tax Act. It doesn't have its own separate tax carve-out. Now, if you stay in Malaysia for at least 182 days in a tax year, you will probably be regarded as a tax resident, and money earned within Malaysia will be taxed at the regular marginal rates that range from 0 to 30%. Foreign sourced income that is remitted into Malaysia is generally not taxed, and this will remain the case up until the end of 2026, but there are conditions attached to that. Even after 2026, you can still lower your tax liability on foreign sourced income, provided that you structure it correctly. Now, if you're a non-resident for tax purposes, so if you're living in Malaysia but you're not regarded as a tax resident, so you're probably there for less than 182 days, then you will pay a flat 30% on all locally sourced income. And there are tax exemptions available if you're in the country for less than 60 days. All right, guys, there you have it. That's it for the video. I hope you've learned something here. We just wanted to give you a brief summary of this new visa. It's one that had people a little bit confused, especially with the eligibility criteria being quite close to the revamped eligibility criteria on the MM2H. When the authorities came out and said they were going to lower the eligibility criteria on the MM2H, things started to make a bit more sense. So we will see how things pan out there. But if you're looking for a long-term opportunity in Malaysia with pretty good work and business rights, this could be a good visa for you. If you're interested in this or any of the other visas that we've spoken about, or any matter in relation to living and doing business in Asia, head over to our website, offshoreinasia.com. We'll do what we can to help.